Oh. 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 Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. In our devotional course, I was recently sharing a narration where a group of seekers is expressing to Sri Krishna how intensely they miss him. And he responds to them saying, like the wind brings materials together and separates them. That's what the wind does to snow, to leaves, etc. So too, God's will, fate, destiny, providence, you can call it whatever you want, separates people and unites people. If we reflect on this, if we internalize this, then I offer my appreciation to God's will for uniting all of us. And while we're united, we should enjoy each other's company and our own company. When I was introducing Bhagavad Gita to all of you, I shared the name of a great thinker, Madhusudana Saraswati. He is the one who wrote the dhyana shlokas, or the prayer verses, to prepare us for being immersed in Bhagavad Gita. In one of these verses, he describes Bhagavad Gita as Amba. Amba means mother. If we think of this physically, what does a mother do to a baby? First feeds that baby liquid foods. Yes. And then transitions to solid foods. In the context of Bhagavad Gita, the liquid food is karma yoga. And the solid food is jnana yoga. In chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna shares with us who we want and need to be that is content. How can we be content? Through knowledge. By knowing our responsibilities, that helps us to know change, that helps us to know vastness. The one who knows their vastness will be content. I've shared that the theme of chapter 2 is fearlessness because one of the most significant fears we all have is of the unknown. But if you know, then that's no longer a source of fear. Yes? This sharing right at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita is vital. What has been taught in chapter 2 is imperative for us to understand and appreciate the forthcoming chapters. Chapter 2 is the ends. This comes in the beginning so that we're clear that this is the ends and all else is a means. If I'm not clear about the ends, I'm not going to be clear about the means, yes? What's also implied by this sharing in chapter 2, the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is not for us to be great. The purpose is for us to be the greatest. The means, which is karma yoga, will make us great. But that's not the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. The purpose is for us to be the greatest, to feel this ends. There is no dilution that's being expressed by Sri Krishna. Chapters 3 through 5 are the means. Yesterday, I used the word that these means are becoming more intense. Try to visualize that we're climbing a mountain. Suppose it's Mount Everest. Chapter 3 would be like base camp. To get to base camp, you have to be great and rich. But then to go higher, right, it requires more intensity. I think it's Delta Airlines. Their slogan is keep climbing, correct? We have to keep climbing until we can't climb anymore. That's the end. That makes one the greatest. Prince Arjuna is great. He is not the greatest yet. And this is clear in his immaturity that he feels that karma yoga and jnana yoga, or the magnification of karma yoga, these are all different paths. They are not different paths. They are different sections of the same path. Is base camp and the peak of Mount Everest different? A different mountain? They're not. Simply different sections of the same mountain. Sri Krishna now answers Prince Arjuna's question from verse 1 to verse 2. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Sannyasa Karma Yogascha Nishayasa Karavubhau Tayostu Karma Sannyasat Karma Yogo Vishishyate. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Shri Krishna is Bhagavan, the one who is most virtuous. What is his response? Sannyasa karma yogascha. He's identifying both of these paths. This is karma sannyasa and karma yoga. I'm going to elaborate so that we're clear specifically what karma sannyasa is. Karma yoga, I feel we are clear. What is karma sannyasa? Karma yoga is the right attitude infused into the right actions. Right attitude, right actions. Most of us are engaged in this. Still, as we're doing this, there may be, and here this is me being polite, I know there is, expectations. Yes? You have expectations of your family. You have expectations of your company. And that's why in chapter 4, the focus is to reduce deservership, which is really to reduce expectations. Now, coming back to right attitude, right actions, as we're doing this, there may be the presence of ego. I am engaged in the right attitude and the right actions. And that's why in chapter 5, the focus is to reduce doership. Karma sannyasa yoga, this sannyasa is to drop desires, to drop doership. The next quarter, Nishreyasa karau ubhau. Both of these paths will lead to Nishreya. Shreya means to be great. I've stated that many times. We always have the choice to follow Preya, which makes us ordinary, or Shreya, which makes us great. Here, Sri Krishna uses the word Nishreya, which means these paths will lead you to the greatest. Third quarter, Tayostu karma sannyasa. He's making a comparison between these paths, but through reflection, we have to interpret this not as a physical path, but rather a mental path. Since both of these paths lead to the same destination, Sri Krishna is trying to teach Prince Arjuna that they're the same path. Unlike in a physical path, if you want to get to Niagara Falls, you can come from the Canadian side or you can come from the American side. Those are different paths. That is physical, but mentally, there is only one path. And so if you want to reach the ends, you have to follow the means. Karma yoga vishishyate. Between these paths, and every time I say this, I'm putting this in brackets, it's path. This bracket implies sections of path. Between them, what is vishishyate? What is special? What is unique? What is for you? Karma yoga. You have to be solid in the means for you to evolve to the ends. And we all know this. In our Running from the Mind community, we run 21 kilometers. How many of you are ready to run 21 kilometers in the next month by a show of hands? Some of us can. I see a 5-year-old with his hand up too, which is awesome. But if I told you in 6 months, how many of you could do this? Now there's more hands up, correct? You have to be solid with 2 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers before you can reach that 21 kilometers. Everyone's smiling. I get it, Vivekji. But do you do this in every experience, every day? Sharing this analysis one more time. Karma yoga is where there is, and I'm using Puja Swami Tejomayan on this language here, his words, is vichara and bhoga. Vichara means enjoying, and bhoga means enjoying. That's karma yoga. Karma sannyasa yoga is only vichara. Only enjoying with no enjoying. Shared differently. With karma yoga, there are more excuses. With karma sannyasa yoga, there's more expectations of yourself. With karma yoga, we can make excuses. We do. But for karma sannyasa yoga, no excuses. If one practices karma yoga, what will naturally happen is jnana karma sannyasa yoga. And what will then naturally happen? Karma sannyasa yoga. If you are dedicated and you're practicing this, this will evolve to a reduction in deservership. And if you're practicing this, this will evolve to a reduction in doership. If you're practicing this, this question that Prince Arjuna asked would not be asked. It's only when we approach this technically that such questions arise. Then scholars get involved and talk about this and this and this. But if you're practicing, this is all natural. With this orientation, now Sri Krishna will begin sharing what the lifestyle and vision of someone who's reducing their doership looks like, feels like. This is very meaningful and exciting. From inspiration to application. Your application yesterday was all of the cleaning and clearing that you were engaged in to feel that you're the driver and the body is your car. How many of you tried? If you did this, and I did this for many hours, I may have shoveled for 4 hours yesterday. It was great. You have less limits then. A driver has less limits than a car, correct? A car gets cold, the car runs out of fuel, but the driver doesn't. To feel the same way with this body of ours. Your application for this morning is you're not to use any negative labels for any article, being, circumstance, no negative labels. So what is snow day like? It is awesome, right? No negative labels. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.